Zombies are everywhere in Minecraft and can be a difficult mob in large groups, but this seemingly simple hostile is actually really complex, so in this video discover 50 things you probably didn't know about Minecraft zombies. When you're fighting zombies inside of Minecraft, something you might notice is that they will occasionally drop carrots as well as potatoes. You might be wondering why in the world would zombies ever drop carrots and potatoes? Well, of course the first reason is it gives the players a way, without going to villages, of getting your first seed crops to grow tons of carrots and also potatoes, but as well as that it's actually to symbolize the fact that zombies will go out and raid villages. When do zombies raid villages? Well, right now, as you can see here, we have a very large crowd of zombies that appeared outside this village and are now running towards it to start killing all the villagers. More or less, in Minecraft Java Edition only, there's a mechanic where rarely, outside of a village, you can have up to 20 zombies spawn in a sort of zombie siege, being like an ancient pillager raid variant. And the idea would be is that during these raids, the zombies would be taking a bunch of items from the villagers. You can obviously decide to kill zombies with either the flame enchantment or without the flame enchantment, and other than the additional damage, you might think that the flame enchantment has no use on the zombie, but it actually does. As we were just saying earlier, a zombie can sometimes drop a potato when killed, and something you may actually notice here is that this is not a standard potato, it is a baked potato, and what's so awesome about that is that if you kill a zombie with a flame sword, and it was going to drop a potato anyway, it'll now drop that as a baked potato. So you have an instant dinner from a mob, which is a lot better than what I can say a creeper will give you. 1 in 20 zombies aren't even zombies, they're zombie villagers. Zombie villagers are really interesting because they can generate in any of their professions, including nitwit, so you can totally find a zombie villager that is a nitwit and can never have a job even after you cure it. But as well as that, the biome that it is dependent on what biome it spawns in, so if you have one of these zombie villagers generate inside a plains biome, you're going to get a plains zombie villager, but if they happen to generate inside of a savanna biome, you're going to get a savanna zombie villager. So when you're going through killing a massive horde of zombies, maybe you can even save and cure some of those zombie villagers to eventually convert them into great traders. Zombie villagers generating inside of Minecraft is different between Bedrock Edition and Java Edition. You see, in Minecraft Bedrock Edition, these zombie villagers will actually generate in a group. However, inside of Minecraft Java Edition, they'll always generate individually, and so because of that, you'll usually just find one lone zombie villager in a sea of other zombies. Whereas in Bedrock, it'd be a lot closer to finding a little cluster of standard zombies, and then seeing a small cluster of zombie villagers. Minecraft's underground is absolutely filled with mob spawners, and there's quite a few different variants of these mob spawners, but for the main type, 50% of them will spawn as a zombie spawner. You can actually see right up here next to the spawner, as well as some brand new zombies that have appeared in here, which are apparently going to turn into some skulk blocks because of a nearby catalyst. You can see over here we do have the zombie in there, so 50% of mob spawners that you find will be zombie spawners. You can absolutely find zombies in deserts, but 80% of them will spawn in as husks. However, this number is different in Bedrock Edition, with only 70% of zombies inside of the desert biome turning into husks. Though 4 out of 5 zombies are husks inside of Java, and in Bedrock it's a little less than 3 out of 4. Husks are not exactly the same as zombies, in fact they have a couple incredibly big differences. The first one is that when the sun eventually does come out, and it is a scorchingly hot day in Minecraft's deserts, these husks do not burn. In fact, even when other undead mobs, like let's say this skeleton over here, are burning up in the hot sand and sun, the husks are just chilling out with the creepers in the desert. Whenever you kill a zombie in Minecraft, they're gonna drop an item known as rotten flesh sometimes, and when you eat rotten flesh, there's of course a chance of getting the hunger effect. However, the husks themselves can actually also give you this hunger effect. Let's test that right now. Our hunger has just ran out. You can see we don't have that status effect, and when we're bitten by the husk, we now have well over 12 seconds of hunger. This can be really bad because of course there's no really good food sources in this biome anyway, and if you're fighting a ton of husks, you may end up being cursed with a very long-lasting hunger effect due to all the different husks that are trying to get after you. When you have a group of chickens inside of Minecraft and a zombie spawns next to it, there is a 1 in 200 chance for that to turn into a chicken jockey, which you can see right here. We have a baby zombie that is very humorously riding around that chicken, and it still can damage us, although it's definitely not as quick as your standard zombie. However, if you just have zombies generating around normally and there are no chickens nearby, it is then a 1 in 400 chance for that to be a chicken jockey. It looks like some zombies have survived to the day and are now burning to death. Now what they'll generally tend to do is walk towards the water to make themselves stop being on fire. Amazingly enough, those 3 zombies will eventually convert into 3 drowned, and this effect is made even better in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. The reason why is that zombies in Minecraft Bedrock Edition, when they convert into drowns, can also gain that trident in their hand, so you can actually farm a really great source of tridents by converting zombies into drowns in Bedrock. Drowned in Minecraft are basically an underwater zombie, and they don't have to just be converted from a zombie that went underwater, they can generate underneath here too in any fully dark water. The thing that makes drowned extra dangerous though is that at night they gain the courage to go onto land, as of course they would normally burn up here, even hitting you with a more melee attack. If you just place any small type of block, like let's say some carpets, around the edge of your entire coastline, drowns and things like that will be completely willing to go over it one way. However, if we just escape onto the other side here, you can see they're not going to get up onto the land. Husks and drowns are of course both types of zombies, and we know that if a zombie is underwater, it'll convert into a drowned. But what happens if we have a husk underwater? What will a husk convert into? Well, you can of course see this zombie and this husk are both shaking. Let's see what both these mobs turn into when they're underwater. And we just saw what happened there. We actually have the zombie went from a standard zombie into a drowned. Then we had the husk go from a husk into a zombie. And it looks like that zombie is going to probably now start to also shake and convert into a drowned. So there's basically a double conversion that happens. The husk will first turn into a zombie and then it'll turn into a drowned. Now zombies do naturally attack villagers inside of Minecraft, but something interesting you may notice is that this zombie is not trying to attack these villagers at all. The reason why is that zombies will always prioritize attacking players over attacking villagers, probably because players fight back and villagers don't, but whatever the reason is, just be aware of that. If you're in a village at night, those zombies will be drawn to the village by the villagers, but they're really going to be targeting you mostly, so it's really important to be careful of that. You might have noticed we found some iron leggings as well as gold in this chest, and zombies can actually generate with similar items. That's because zombies will often spawn into Minecraft wearing enchanted gold or leather armor, or even iron armor or other variants. And as you can notice here, we just have 2 armored zombies out of this incredibly massive crowd of them. However, the longer you're in an area in Java Edition, the local difficulty gets higher, which means that more and more of these zombies will generate in with armor until eventually they'll be incredibly common. Zombies have one drop that above all the rest is incredibly overpowered. And that's the fact that sometimes zombies can actually drop iron ingots. Now you might be wondering why in the world would zombies drop iron ingots? I'm not exactly sure, although we're probably supposed to assume they got them from villagers. But either way, this one seemingly inconsequential drop is actually really important because it can be one of the only ways of getting iron in a world like, let's say, Skyblock, that will help you be able to get a bucket to pick up water. Now of course, baby zombies and baby zombie chicken jockeys exist in Minecraft Java Edition, but in Minecraft Bedrock, baby zombies can also ride pandas, chickens, as well as ocelots, cats, wolves, zombies, husks, zombie villagers, zombie pigmen, cows, pigs, sheep, horses, horse variants, mushrooms, and even spiders and poisonous cave spiders. And so the next time you're playing Minecraft Bedrock Edition, just be careful of baby zombies, because they can of course rarely combine with other mobs to make very dangerous and also unique variants. Most mobs in Minecraft only start to follow you when you're within 16 blocks of them, but zombies will actually follow you if you're within 35 blocks of them. This one for Minecraft Java Edition only, so in Bedrock Edition they'll just follow you at the standard 16 block range, but if you're playing Java you have to be really careful because it's very common for a very large group of zombies to pile up behind you that you can't even see, because they might have even seen you from a full 35 blocks away, but in reality by the time you find out it might just be too late. Most zombies in Minecraft of course spawn with nothing and no armor, although a couple of them can have armor. An even smaller percentage of the zombies that have armor, in fact only 0.0 0.04% of total zombies have the ability to spawn in with full diamond armor. This is an incredibly crazy ability that zombies can sometimes have. Just know that the chance of finding one of these diamond zombies is so low, you'll probably never find one in your entire time playing. Also, because zombies can never spawn in the nether, that's why there's no netherite armored zombies. Enchanted diamond is the best armor you could ever find on a zombie. Of course, we just looked at baby zombies, but there's also baby zombie villagers. However, what's interesting about both these baby variants of zombie mobs is that neither of them can ever grow up, except for in one situation. So of course, starting with the baby zombie, it stays like that forever. It'll just never grow up into an adult zombie. But with the baby zombie villager, we actually can make it grow up one way. And that's to use a splash potion of weakness and golden apple on it, and you can actually cure that into just a baby villager. And then of course that baby villager can eventually grow up. But if it stays as a baby zombie villager, it can never grow up like that. Iron golems are of course the protectors of villagers, and so if let's say a zombie or a mob like that is nearby, that iron golem will go out and kill it. However, something you might notice, it's not just the iron golem that's picking for a fight. In fact, the zombies actively try and seek out and kill iron golems. You can see right here we put down a good group of zombies here, and all of those zombies before the iron golem is targeting them are actually running over and trying to defeat it. But because the iron golem is so much more powerful than them, they're gonna get killed every time. But as you can see here, if there is a large enough group, they could technically eventually overpower and kill that iron golem. Now we all know the one nice thing about zombies is that if you sleep before they get to you, when it eventually does turn to daytime, all those zombies are gonna burn up. However, you can actually stop zombies from burning up if you give them a helmet. Not all zombies can wear armor, but if you find a type that does, simply throw a helmet at its feet. That zombie will pick it up, and then once all of its other zombie friends have died, it'll remain in the sun, being completely fine. This basically gives it full fire resistance, and this makes its function really similar to the husk. Turtles are a really fun mob in Minecraft, but be sure to protect any of their nests at night, because for some reason, zombies absolutely hate turtle eggs. As you can see right here, if a zombie spawns in near them, it'll actually go directly towards those turtle eggs and try and jump on them. You can see it literally goes and actually jumps up and down on top of those turtle eggs. And obviously it's not nice for your turtles to be destroyed, but it is pretty funny to see this zombie jumping up and down on top of such an arbitrary block. One of the strangest items that zombies are able to spawn with is an iron shovel. In fact, the iron shovel can even be enchanted, like you can see right here. The zombies can't break blocks with the shovel, although we are in a desert right now, so maybe these three zombies are really just three zombified Steves that were in this desert trying to mine out sand. And shovel zombies aren't too rare, because 1 in 30 zombies actually spawn in holding one. Zombies have a range they can attack you from, so for example, if we run up to this fence, we can still be hit by them even if we're not physically touching the mob. But in a situation where you have to be even more careful is when it comes to doors, because zombies can actually attack you through doors even if it doesn't seem like it. I'll show you right here. These zombies are aware that we're here, they're definitely trying to follow us, and if we walk up to this door, you can actually see that those zombies are hurting and could even kill us if they see us and hit us through it. Now zombies can of course exist on easy, normal, or hard, but on hard difficulty zombies change a bit. The problem is that 10% of these zombies can actually break down your doors, like what this one is doing right now. It literally destroys the door. You can see the item actually pops off, and then they can somewhat get inside from that point. In fact, the zombies are going all around us, and they're trying to break down our walls. So only 10% of zombies can do this, but still be careful, because even just one door breaking can obviously let that entire stream of zombies in. You have to be careful though, because certain zombies are much more dangerous than others. This is since, as a really rare chance, zombies can sometimes spawn with an iron sword. Obviously this makes their attack much worse, and you can even see if we have no armor on, one hit from that iron sword almost instantly kills us. Although we can thankfully escape to floating sections of mineshaft, that iron sword zombie is still quite dangerous, although the good news is that not even 2% of zombies spawn in with one. Zombies are about the same size as the player, so they need a 1 block by 2 block tall area to spawn in. It doesn't make sense, but this rule is the same for baby zombies, is that although baby zombies can only spawn in a 1 by 2 block tall space, they can actually walk in a 1 by 1 block space, but the good news is that baby zombies cannot spawn in a 1 by 1 block space, which means that all your 1 block tall dark areas are not just gonna get filled up with baby zombies. Zombies are undead mobs, and a really fun Easter egg that Mojang decided to put in the game is that splash potions of healing and harming are swapped with them. That's right, that means if we throw splash potions of harming at that zombie, they're gonna hurt us if we get in the splash range, but they're actually gonna heal our zombie here. Whereas with the splash potions of healing, if we get in the radius here, it's gonna heal us, but it's gonna hurt our zombie quite a bit. In fact, only 2 splash potions of healing were enough to kill our zombie. We're not quite done experimenting on our zombies though, because we have to see the effect that a charged creeper has on one. If a charged creeper explodes next to a zombie, that zombie will drop its head, and this item is really useful, but it can be hard to get. In Bedrock Edition, however, this is a lot easier, because every mob that a charged creeper kills will drop its head if it's able to. And if you're wondering how to get a charged creeper, a channeling trident might help, because it's lightning that converts a standard creeper into its incredibly deadly charged variant. So that's how you get a zombie head, but what do you actually do with this item? Well, for starters, you can place down the zombie head, but you can also put it on, and if you put on a zombie head, not only will you then start to look like a zombie, but the zombies will also think you're a zombie. That's because wearing a zombie head will half their range, from being able to follow you at 35 blocks away to only 17.5 blocks away. And of course in Bedrock Edition, the 16 block follow distance is halved to only 8 blocks. So if you're wearing a zombie head, you are almost completely invisible to these mobs. This area has a high local difficulty, which means that up to 55% of zombies can pick up items. This also includes armor. For example, right there, that zombie just got a new hat. Or maybe this zombie right here is gonna get its own stack of purple wool. Let's kit this zombie out with a diamond sword. And I think this zombie over here might need a rocket launcher. The only unfortunate thing is that although these zombies can technically pick up almost any item or piece of armor, they don't actually have the ability to really use any of these items. Believe it or not, one of the items that zombies can pick up in Minecraft is the incredibly overpowered Totem of Undying. And let's do a test and bring this zombie down this very conveniently placed diving board, which happens to not have a pool at the end of it. And let's punch our zombie off and see what happens. And when it hit the ground, it actually did get that Totem of Undying effect. Our zombie apparently survived, and you can even see particle effects here, which are indicating that the totem definitely did its work. Just be aware that if you give a zombie a Totem of Undying, it is absolutely going to use that. If you happen to defeat a zombie in Minecraft, it'll give you 5 XP. However, if you defeat a zombie that has armor on it, the amount of XP it gives you changes. But when a zombie spawns with equipment, it actually gives you even more XP. So of course you get that base 5 XP, but for every single piece of armor or equipment that the zombie has, there is an additional 1 to 3 XP. On this zombie then, that means we would get anywhere between 8 to 14 XP when we kill it. That also counts for shovel zombies and any other type of zombie that has equipment. If you want to stop a zombie from despawning, there's actually 4 different ways to easily do that. The first one only works in Java Edition, and that is to place down a boat. The zombie will get trapped in the boat and it'll never despawn out of there. The second trick is to name tag the zombie. This can be good if you have a large villager set up already, since name tags would be easy to get then. Another funny trick is to literally just give an item to a zombie. Once they have any item in their hand that they've picked up, it can also never despawn. And another way of doing this is by having it pick up a piece of armor, which is sometimes an easier option. Something I mentioned earlier is that zombies can't go into the Nether, but there is actually one way that you can find zombie mobs in this dimension. The trick is to anger all the zombified pigmen. If we start hitting these zombified pigmen, that'll actually hurt them, and it'll make them want to call in zombie reinforcements. And if we keep hitting these zombie pigmen, eventually some should spawn, and you can actually see there is some that are appearing around. And this can happen when any mob that's classified as a zombie gets hurt. It'll have that ability to potentially spawn in reinforcements. Obviously, if a zombie is exposed to the sun, that zombie will burn up and eventually die. But if the zombie is able to find a place underneath blocks that's safe from the sun, it'll survive. Now, zombies definitely can burn underneath blocks if they're transparent, so if a zombie's inside but it's under glass, stained glass, or maybe a trapdoor, it'll still burn. Although the one exception to this rule is the mob spawner, also tinted glass since it's not actually technically transparent in the same way. And finally, leaves. Now, most players would consider baby zombies to be one of the fastest mobs in the game. But are these mobs actually as fast as they seem? Even while just walking, no sprinting at all, we can outrun this baby zombie easily. The reason for that is that the speed that baby zombies travel at is the exact same speed that you can walk at, but they will sometimes slow down. But that also means that if you're running, especially running and jumping, then you can fairly easily outrun that baby zombie. This zombie on the right is completely different from the ones on the left. That's because this zombie is a leader. Now you might be wondering what in the world a leader zombie is, and it's a type of zombie that only 5% or 1 in 20 zombies are. So for example here, between these two we have 20, and just one of those 20 zombies is a leader. The difference between leader zombies and standard zombies is that leader zombies can spawn zombie reinforcements at a much higher rate. This means that because it's the leader, it has the ability to call other zombies into fight. Looks like there's a zombie over there, I guess we should go defeat it. But actually, as we get closer to this mob, you'll see that it's absolutely massive. That's because we're not actually looking at a zombie, this is a giant. A special type of mob that was never fully implemented into the game. You can still summon it in with commands, but fundamentally it's just a giant zombie. The only way to get this in the game is to run/summon and then giant, and that'll give you this massive mob. Giants can't hurt the player, but you can push giants around, and they can be killed. The giants have no AI. I feel like the best thing I could possibly add to this Cherry Grove biome would be a full-blown wither. At very least, that would hopefully get rid of all the incredibly large amount of zombies that are here. But in reality, the way the wither works with zombies is not what you'd think. Yes, of course, wither's original explosion will kill zombies. What you may notice is that this wither is not targeting those zombies at all. And that's because the wither, as an undead mob, is not going to hurt any fellow undead mobs. And of course that includes our favorite zombie. Zombies are one of the most common mobs in the game. In fact, they can be found in literally every single overworld biome except for two. The first one is a little dangerous, that's the deep dark biome. Of course this biome has a dangerous warden in it, so other hostile mobs aren't needed. And of course the second place is one of my favorite biomes in the entire game, Minecraft's peaceful Mushroom Islands. Because as long as there's no cave biome underground, even the caves under here will not have a single zombie in them. On only one day out of the year, you can actually find two special types of zombies. The first one is the carved pumpkin wearing zombie that of course is specific to Halloween. The second one is also specific to Halloween, and that is a jack-o'-lantern wearing mob. Of course, other than the item on their head, these zombies are basically the same as any other zombie, but it's cool that Mojang decided to make it even more interesting by giving us extra spooky zombies on Halloween. Zombies are obviously incredibly common inside of Minecraft, and so because of that, their most common drop, rotten flesh, is also going to be something that you're going to find a very large amount of around. Because eventually, once this huge crowd of zombies dies, we're going to be left with tons and tons of rotten flesh. And make sure to save this rotten flesh, it's not garbage, because if you travel to a nearby village, or maybe to your trading hall and trade with clerics, you can get 1 emerald for about half a stack of rotten flesh. Another great use for rotten flesh is healing tamed wolves, as it's the cheapest item you can do that with. What happens in Minecraft if you're killed by a zombie when you have a lot of good items on you? Well, an important thing to know is that zombies can only pick up 1 item in their hands, but they can absolutely have a full set of armor. So if you have full diamond armor and that zombie happens to run over that area, it's just going to pick up every single piece of armor that it's nearby. The only piece of good news in this is that even though it's very difficult to now defeat this zombie that has full diamond armor, at very least 100% of the time, if a zombie picks up an item, it will drop it. Which means that eventually, after hitting this diamond armor zombie for a very, very long time, we will get our full diamond armor back and also whatever item of ours is in its hand. It should take exactly 2 hits if we're not doing critical attacks to kill a skeleton, and it does. However, zombies have something called a natural armor, which makes this different, which means that whenever they're hit, they take 1.6 up to 8% less damage per attack. This may not seem like a big deal, but we can prove it right here, because if we hit the zombie twice, fully charged with our netherite axe, it didn't die. That did do 20 hearts of damage, but because it was reduced by 1.6 to 8%, it's a little bit lower. That means that on our 3rd hit here, we should be able to instantly kill that zombie, because it probably only had half a heart or maybe 1 or 2 hearts left. I have to say though, my respect for zombies definitely went up when I realized that zombies will actually try and attack wandering traders, but that wandering traders will drink an invisibility potion to avoid this. We all find wandering traders annoying, and I'm sure back when these zombies were Steves, so did they. But of course, if you actually do like wandering traders, just be aware of this because it means that they could definitely be killed by your zombies. And they do not turn into zombie villagers when killed. There's one other way to stop zombies from burning up in the sun, which is not getting them inside or giving them a hat. And that's actually trapping the zombie inside of cobwebs. But if a zombie's inside cobwebs, it actually won't die from the sun. However, you can notice only this baby zombie isn't burning. Why are the adults burning? Well, it only works if the zombie's head is trapped in the cobweb, but as you can see here, all these zombies that do have their head in the cobweb, they're completely fine and are not burning up in the sun. So if you want to try and quickly save a zombie, maybe throw down some cobwebs, slowing it down, but also extinguishing it for some reason. It's always seemed to me that when you have a bunch of zombies underwater and they're starting to turn into drowns, that this is definitely not a very comfortable process for the mob, with them of course completely converting from one mob into another. However, a really crazy fact about when zombies turn into drowns is that it actually fully heals the mob. That's right, all these zombies turned drowned are now completely healed, and they're a fully powered drowned ready to go with its full HP. And for our 50th fact about zombies, there's 2 enchantments in the game that are really important when you're trying to fight them. The first one is Sweeping Edge 3, and the second one is Smite 5. Now what makes these enchantments so good? Well, it's pretty simple. Smite 5 makes there be extra damage to zombies, meaning that you can one-hit them, and Sweeping Edge is great for the ways that zombies work. What this means that if there is a big crowd of zombies and you swing your sword, you can hit a bunch of zombies at once, knocking them back, and also getting damage to go to a bunch of different mobs at a time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video about 50 zombie facts in Minecraft. If you did, make sure to press the like button, subscribe to see more like this, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!